It is Friday, May 2nd, 2025. This is another edition of Baseball Today. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, intern Sawyer along for the ride as well. I'm going to see if there's one time where I could make the pause in between saying that and is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I'm going to see if I could make that last 30 seconds.
Okay, just so I have to hold my fingers like this?
Yes.
Okay.
Hold. It's burning. I don't know if I can do that.
Speaking of burn, I need to get back to the gym, see Rose.
I thought you said you went earlier this week.
I did, but I took today off. I went golfing. Come on, man. I'm better than that.
Are you allowed to share who you went golfing with?
Yeah, my buddy Adir and Cole Tucker.
Cole Tucker. There we go.
One of just the greatest people on planet Earth right now.
Do you know how many Instagram followers his bride has?
I do not. I follow her. I'm one of them.
50.4 million. Man.
All right. I cannot gain followers on Instagram. I don't know what. I guess I don't post. That's probably it.
That's probably part of the deal. Everybody who doesn't follow Trevor, please do. Oh, and you can follow T-Rose127 as well. Yeah, while you're there. All right, let's get to it. A little tip of the cap, and we're appreciating art in the baseball world. We'll talk a little bit about the Guardians and the Twins a little bit later, but how about this catch by Daniel Schneemann right in front of Jhonkensy Noel, and it gets caught picture perfect by a photographer in Cleveland. That's pretty good.
I want to hate on this so bad. I had this whole thing. I was going to talk about that banana with the duct tape and how is this really art, but this is amazing. This is, what's funny about this? Okay, Buck hits it. Guardians win, take 3 of 4 for my Twins. Great. We're going to talk about that. Noel would have caught the ball too.
Right.
It was a double KO right here. It didn't matter who caught it. They were both going to catch it. And here we go. Show the whole thing. The
picture, though, is so good, it almost makes it look like the two of them. Do you remember back in gym class when you were in 4th grade and they put those mats down on the floor that you could do tumbling on? It looks like they're lying down on a mat.
This photograph is going to win awards this year. This is incredible.
Yeah.
Even the colors are perfect. Everything about it is perfect.
Pretty good. All right. We've got a bunch of series we're looking ahead to for the weekend. Yes.
We need to shout the photographer out. So Dan, figure that out.
Yeah. I couldn't figure out who took the photographs.
We have a Dan and an intern. Let's go, guys.
Yeah. We'll get the name at some point during the show. Because you're right. I could not find the name of the photographer who took that, but it was very, very well done. No question. We got the Cubs heading into Milwaukee this weekend, and they are totally rolling on offense. They had Paul Skeens pleading the fifth in the 5th.
You just want to make sure you swing at a good pitch in that situation.
And it was a good pitch. Hit out to right center field. Cruz back at the wall. It's gone. Kyle Tucker into right center field. Reynolds back at the wall, and it is gone. Seiya out to left. Did they do it again? They most certainly did. 3rd homer of the inning.
He's a strong man. He's got a beautiful swing, and he's a strong man, and that's it.
God. Is that up for soundbite of the year, Council, talking about Seiya?
That's all I want people to say about me ever, right there. If that could just be on my tombstone, that's all I would ever want. Strong man, beautiful swing.
So Skeens ends up giving 3 homers up in the same inning for the first time in his career. This isn't just against anybody. It's against Paul Skeens, who's one of the best pitchers in baseball, even though we're less than a year into him being a big leaguer. Did the Cubs, though, design a blueprint to attack him?
You mean hit the balls, the mistake pitches that he made? That's the blueprint. You have to hit the pitches that are in the middle of the zone. What's crazy to me is, okay, look, Dansby gets a hanging 2-strike splitter. Great. Tucker jumps a fastball. But Suzuki gets a 3-0 split? That's what it was registered as. 92 miles an hour. What was going on there? I guess Paul thought he was going to swing, so he threw me a get-me-over split, and for some reason, Suzuki was just all over it. So, that was the difference. And Council had some quotes after the game saying, look, we just were really patient. We didn't chase out of the zone. We, hit his mistakes. That's the game plan against every single pitcher, especially a guy with strikeout stuff. You have to make sure you're tunneling him to get him in the zone. And if you are laying off those borderline pitches and getting into hitters counts, I mean, that's how you have success against anybody. So, I mean, yeah, you could say, I mean, that's the blueprint, but that's not for Paul Skeens. That's just like for hitting in general.
With Skeens, though, it obviously was not his best day. He'd given up 1 homer, I think, before the day, and he gives up 3 in a single inning. He had allowed 4 walks all year, and he allowed 4 in this game. He was off. Cubs took advantage. They're also one of the best offenses in all of baseball. They've been great, which kind of gets us to the second part of this equation, right? Which is now that Chicago faces off against Milwaukee for the first time this year. Brewers are the 2-time defending division champs of the National League Central. In fact, you'll remember when they won the division, I think it was by double digits a year ago, Craig Counsell, who led the Brewers to one of those division titles before grabbing the dough and heading south to the north side of Chicago, he said this when the Cubs were basically eliminated last year about the Brewers.
Look, there's a big gap. I mean, they're ahead of us by a lot. And it's a talented team on and off the field. It's a talented team. But there's a big gap, and we got room to make up. There's no question about it.
Okay, so now it's the Cubs that come in first place. They've played very well all season long. How big is the gap with Chicago on top right now?
I think it is sizable. I'm going to do a little thought exercise for every single person out there. You can talk about these rotations, and the bullpens have been inconsistent for both teams. That a couple guys in each bullpen have been doing all right. Presley's been great for Chicago. In April, he hasn't given up a run. First 3 outings weren't great. Even the starting pitching, you could say those are close enough, especially if you're looking at, statistics and ERA. I think I'd probably lean Cubs there. But if you went position players, Chris, and you went around the diamond, how many guys would you swap out from the Cubs for the Brewers? Typically, you think, okay, William Contreras. He's one of the best catchers in all baseball. The Cubs are getting crazy production out of their catcher position, whether it's Amaya or Carson Kelly. So that's not happening right now. Terang, I guess you would probably say over Nico Horner. But Nico's doing a great job defensively. I think that's the only position I could find on the field where I'd switch out a guy from the Brewers and put them on the Cubs. Look, Yelly, overall numbers aren't great. The production, the counting stats are good, but you're Ian Happ's a guy. And then Pete Crow and Kyle Tuck, it's guy for guy right now. I think Terang's the only guy I would switch out. And that will tell you how big the gap is between these two teams.
I would agree. And I think that the Cubs are going to get better. I think they're going to make some additions with the rotation. I think they're going to go for it. And I certainly think they need more swing and miss. You've heard me opine about that throughout the entire year. They need more of that, certainly at the back end of their bullpen. But we both are big believers in the Cubs. I know I had them winning the division. I think you did as well, right?
I did. I had the Brewers in the playoffs as a wild card team.
Yeah, I don't think I did. So I do think that the gap is fairly sizable here. And Seiya Suzuki has had a remarkable year. He did hit a couple of homers Thursday in Pittsburgh. His OPS is almost a 1 And let's remember, he was on the trade market. Those weren't rumors. His agent came out and said, yes, the Cubs are being very upfront and forthright about this. They're telling us which teams they're talking to and about and all sorts of stuff. So that wasn't just something that was put out there by a bunch of reporters. That was something that was discussed. And boy, are they happy that they held on to him because he has been such a huge difference maker for them.
Yeah, he had some quotes after the game talking about his power, saying when I came over here, I think a lot of guys that come from, Asia feel the same way. I remember talking to Byung-ho Park, for instance. He came over from Korea. He was a huge power hitter there. And he said, man, the difference is everyone can hit for power here, even the small guys. And so Seiya said after the game, I've been around all these power hitters. I wanted to step my game up, and he has.
And, they're fairly comparable if you look at the metrics defensively. And where's the one area where we thought the Brewers would be able to dust the Cubs is on the bases. And at least when it comes to stolen bases, if you're just looking at that particular category, the Brewers have 40 stolen bases. There's only one team that has more, the Chicago Cubs, which I was shocked to find out when I was peeking at the numbers. So let us know.
It's interesting to think about because the Brewers have some really good players.
Yeah, they do.
The Cubs right now are just stacked at every single position. I guess Chiriot, like, where do you maybe you switch him out? I
Yeah,
don't know, man. They're just getting
maybe.
so much production.
Yeah, because Ian Happ's a very good baseball player, but I think Jackson Chourio, as I mentioned, I felt like at the beginning of the year he could be a dark horse MVP candidate if the Brewers stuck in this thing.
Maybe 2 players. How about that?
Yeah, maybe. Shout out. Our guys found out that was Joshua Gunter from Cleveland.com who snapped that photo of Noel and Schneemann. Joshua, great job. That was awesome. Tip of the cap to you, sir. Tip of the cap. Dodgers start off a road trip in Atlanta. I remember the last time these two teams met, Atlanta was swept out in Los Angeles and fell to 0-7. Since then, the Braves are 14-9. In your opinion, are the Braves still a viable threat as we speak in the National League, or do they still have something to prove to you?
I mean, I bought their stock at 0-7, Chris. I'm on record of doing that. I think that in this National League, they probably still have a little bit more to prove to me, but they've, like you said, 14-9 since that streak. Chris Sale had his best start of the year against Colorado, which, you can say it's against Colorado. It is what it is. They actually ended up losing that game, but having him back feeling that way is big for their team. And I don't know. I guess they do still have something to prove to me because of just the depth of the NL, but they're obviously playing more to what we expect from them besides the first 2 series of the year. Like they're a better team than they showed then. But again, I think, they dug themselves such a hole that they still have to show us more.
Mm-hmm. The offense is certainly coming along, right? There's no question about it. We don't know how many weeks we are away from seeing the former NL MVP Ronald Acuna, but Sean Murphy I'm not going to say he saved their season, but when he came back off the injured list, started swinging it, he's already got 7 homers in kind of a short span. Baldwin has done a nice job as well. There's been some other guys that have. Alex Verdugo just got brought up. He's been swinging it great. We're still waiting on a few guys. Ozzie Albies, Michael Harris II. They have not gotten going at all. I think they're going to have to prove something all year long. The good news is that what are they, 6? I think they're 6 games back of the Mets in the division. They haven't played New York yet, and they don't play them for another 6 weeks. So you'd think by then they would certainly have Acuna back. You would hope that they would have Strider back, who, of course, came back. Then he injured his hammy. We haven't really gotten much word on him, but hopefully it's soon. So I'm not going to count them out, but if I'm doing a power rankings in the National League, I can't put them right now in the top 6.
No, that's what I'm saying. They have to show us more. And, you could say, okay, on paper, this team is supposed to be better. We can wash their first 2 series,
Right.
but that just means they have to play, exceptional baseball the rest of the way. They kind of already dug that hole. We say every team is going to have this month. Like, well, they started out 0-7. That's their bad streak. They can't have any more of those. So, like, they're walking, a thin line here. Because if they have another one of those streaks, then yes, like being a top 6 team in the NL is going to be very difficult because, as we know, it's stacked this year.
It is stacked. Let us know, where would you put right now the Braves in the pecking order of the National League? You can leave a comment for us.
Would you put them over any of the top 4 NL West teams?
I'd have to count. I think the one I would say is probably the Giants. They're the one that
You don't like the Giants, huh?
It's not I don't like them. I just feel like I think they're the 4th best team in that division.
The Giants are the guardians of the NL West, dude. They just find ways to win. Oh,
No.
yeah?
Mm-mm.
I don't mean like they're a better team on paper,
Mhm.
I think, than the Guardians.
I
But
agree.
the Guardians are going to win just as many games as the Giants this year. I don't think that's like far-fetched to say.
No, I don't think that's
Guardians
far-fetched.
find ways to win games all the time, and so do the Giants.
Yeah, I think that they're built differently. That's
They are
all.
built differently, yeah.
But I mean, if you're talking about record-wise, yeah, I could see that happening. I could see them both getting between 80 and 85 wins.
And you see Atlanta getting into the high 80s?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I
I do too.
But I'm still not so sure that's going to be enough to get into the top 6. We'll have to see.
Yeah. That's an interesting question. Like, what's the number to in the NL this year?
Yeah, I think we need to get 10 weeks into the season, 10 to 12 weeks into the season to start saying what's fair with that number. Okay? Let's put that on the back burner. But people can have an opinion about it. So go ahead, fire away in the comments. I like that when you all show up. Hey, it's time right now for our Like a Bosch Player of the Week. It is brought to you by Bosch Power Tools. Just like Bosch Power Tools, this player got the job done through hard work, through grit, and through determination. Trevor Plouffe, the floor is yours.
I am going with my guy, Jorge Polanco, who has been like the savior of the Mariners over the last 7 games. It's just been absolutely incredible what he's been able to do. He is 9 for 17, 5 homers, 12 runs driven in. He has an OPS of 2.129. That's pretty good, Chris. A 2-dotter. So he's my player of the week.
Okay, when you were teammates with him, I've been dying to know this. When you look straight at him, do his eyes bug out or not? He's got kind of a little cross-eyed look to him.
No.
Oh, all right.
I don't think so.
All right.
I didn't know. Polo. Nice guy.
I've heard great things about him. I just always wondered, his eyes are interesting.
Okay.
I guess
I don't really remember
that.
I don't think that's a thing, but maybe they've changed.
It's just the Rose household that thinks that.
Yeah.
It's possible. My guy is Javi Baez. Center fielder Javi Baez hit a grand slam during their win in Houston, and they have to go fly west to go play another American League West team. And what does he do in Anaheim? He goes deep yet again. This was the Javi Baez that we saw that was a runner-up for NL MVP many years ago. Oh, and by the way, how good a center fielder is he? Go ask Soler, because this is a legit rob. That's a short wall out now in right center field in Anaheim. That is a legit home run robbery.
Can I tell you something? It looks like he's having fun.
I know.
And like hitting will do that to you. Like hitting some homers will make you have fun. But I think the challenge of playing center field, I think, the struggles of the past, make you sit down and think about what the heck am I doing here? I got to be here a long time. I still have time on my contract. I better figure it out or I'm going to be miserable the rest of these years. I think I don't want to call it rock bottom, but you feel a certain way. And then he looks good. This is great. I'm happy for him, actually.
Yeah.
He got so much crap.
Yeah. He hit 421 over the last week on top of it. So, he was as miserable a guy that was earning $140 million guaranteed could probably be.
I guess it's all relative, huh?
It is, but still, it's good for him and it's great for the Tigers. Holy smokes, particularly with all these injuries they've had in the outfield, that he has gone out there. And some guys you put in center field, particularly in a ballpark like Comerica. I know we saw him make the play out in Anaheim, but that's a huge outfield out there. So to have that good an athlete be able to show up and do his thing, that ain't bad. Today's episode of Baseball Today is sponsored by Bosch. When you pick up a Bosch power tool, it makes you feel empowered, confident, and appreciated no matter what job lies ahead. You're going to simply crush it. As a global leader of power tools, measuring tools, and accessories, Bosch's innovative product solutions are built with quality engineering and precision in mind. The assortment of products ensures that you have the right tools in your toolbox to tackle a variety of tasks with ease. Bosch's 18-volt battery platform powers numerous tools, creating a consistent energy home base that keeps the brand's family of tools running. Like your favorite players on the field, Bosch Power Tools makes sure that you are powered up and ready for anything that gets thrown your way, because the more you Bosch, the more you feel like a Bosch. Head to BoschTools.com today to learn more about power tools you need to get the job done right every single time. All right. Your Twins. They are happy to get out of my hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. I got to tell you, because they have seen way, way, way too much of this.
Runner goes, pitch swung and grounded in the hole, base hit into right, Ramirez around third, he will score the game winner. And for the 12th time, Since 2022, Cleveland is going to walk off the Twins in a one-run game.
Yeah, so let's clean that up. That is 12 times since 2022 they have won a one-run game against Minnesota. That's 12 out of 27 games in Cleveland since 2022. Is that stat as crazy as it sounds?
I mean, it is a crazy stat, but then when you really think about like what these two teams, what they've represented over the last, well, I guess last year and then the beginning of this year, Cleveland finds a way to win baseball games and Minnesota finds a way to lose the baseball game. Like that is as blunt as I can be, and that is the truth. Chris, they allowed 10 runs in those 3 games that the Guardians won. They outscored the Guardians 17-11 in this series and still lost 3 out of 4. They couldn't hit with runners in scoring position. They take the lead in the 10th and give up 2 in the 10th, lose it. Like it was just, again, I think that's as simple as you can put it, but it is the truth. And if you watch the Twins, you kind of know what I'm talking about. Guard dogs will find a way to get the hit or find a way to win the game. And the Twins will do the opposite of that. And that's just kind of, besides, again, the Angels and the White Sox coming into town, it's been like that for them the entire year. And, man, I hope it changes soon because they actually have looked better offensively, just not when runners are in scoring position. So it's pretty frustrating right now for the Twins.
There's more interesting numbers. Dating back to the start of the 2022 season, Minnesota is 1-15 in games decided by 2 runs or fewer at Progressive Field. The Twins have not won a one-run game in Cleveland since August of 2020. Were you still playing there? It only feels that way.
I wasn't.
And the Guardians' 8 walk-off wins against the Twins are the most of any team against any other squad in baseball since 2022. So it's 8 walk-off wins, which is unreal. A big part of why this happens is because of the way that Cleveland is constructed. They are built, really the only way they win games is by utilizing the bullpen in tight games. They have very few games where they win 8-1 or win 9-2. Those just don't happen. They're on the wrong end of some of those. Like at the beginning of this series, I think it was 11-1 or 11-3 or whatever it was. And Cleveland plays a lot of games very close. So they will be tied when they go to the bottom of the 9th or the bottom of the 10th or whatever inning it is. And then they just walk it off. So it's a strange thing, but it makes sense when you look at the way that Cleveland is constructed.
Yeah, Rocco was talking after the game. He's like, this is a team that's constructed for close games. They find themselves in them a lot. And when you are in that situation a lot, you learn how to have success in it. And that's the bottom line. I mean, look, it's not easy in the big leagues. You're playing a close game at the end of the game. Guys get nervous. Guys, you tend to, not want to make a mistake. You don't play as free as you do during the rest of the game. But Cleveland just, you find yourselves in those situations enough, you begin to find comfort in them. Mm-hmm. So what you're saying is breeding this team that can win one-run games.
You'll notice, by the way, the series started, first pitch of the series, Gavin Williams delivered and Eddie Julian ripped it over the wall. And you, of course, texted me very quickly. Did I text you one time about this series other than saying, boy, Rocco?
No, that's because that's a Cleveland thing. You're always thinking the worst is going to happen. I keep telling you, they're going to find a way to win. You're just always thinking the worst is going to happen.
That's true.
Yeah.
Unless this guy does it. Jose Ramirez, back at it again, stole the base that actually set up the game-winning run on a pitch out, no less. 250th steal of his career. So that means he becomes the 24th player and the first primary third baseman in Major League history with at least 250 homers and 250 steals. How big a deal is that?
That's a crazy stat right there. I wouldn't have guessed that. I guess thinking back, who is stealing that many bags as a third baseman, and that's kind of where, when I think about him, he just does things a normal third baseman can't do. Like, I guess, steal bags. Usually you have a guy over there. It's a little bit bigger, kind of too slow for the middle infield. And maybe that's him, maybe not enough range for the middle infield, but he has enough arm to get it done at third base. And he's just this sneaky athlete, dude. He doesn't really look or run like an athlete or one of these prototypical base stealers, but he's heady. His baseball IQ is there. He knows when to run. He's got enough speed for it. And, we tend to talk about him a lot on this show, obviously, because you're a Guardians fan and because of how good a player he is. But yeah, I mean, he's special, man.
He is. Just some other numbers. He's the second switch hitter to accomplish a feat. Carlos Beltran is the other. Yeah. And he's only the fourth player to achieve it with a single team. Robin Yount, Hall of Famer. Craig Biggio, Hall of Famer. Derek Jeter, Hall of Famer.
I haven't looked up all-time stolen base leaders. Obviously, I know Ricky's there. I know homers. If you get to 600, you're a god. If you get to 500, you're a god. What's the stolen base number? Is it 600?
Well, I mean, guys haven't run like they used to in the 70s and 80s.
Well, I know. What I'm going to look it up right now. I guess I got.
So you want to know how many guys have 500 career stolen base?
Yes, exactly.
Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah.
Okay.
Compared to,
I mean, I'll give a guess.
Okay.
I'll say that there's 18 guys that have 500 stolen bases.
Career stolen bases. How many?
I said 18.
There's more than that. So there is 39. Paul Molitor right now is the 39th most stolen bases of all time with 504.
Okay, but how many of those guys? How many of those guys played after 1940?
Yeah, so I'm looking at some of the names. I obviously know Ricky Henderson, Lou Brock, Billy Hamilton.
What? Whoa! Hold on.
Not that.
No. That's not because there was a second Billy Hamilton. Actually, there was a first Billy Hamilton.
1866. This Billy Hamilton was.
Yeah. Born. Yeah.
Vince Coleman, Joe Morgan.
Yes.
Kenny Lofton has 622. Juan Pierre has 614. Okay.
That's a good number. Had no idea with Juan Pierre. That's
Brett
great.
Butler, 558. One of my favorite players growing up. Okay.
Yeah.
So I would say I mean.
So
25 of them benchmark.
25 of them are in the modern era, 25 to 30.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's good. Interesting. All right. The Diamondbacks, they won their first series at Citi Field in 8 years. Okay. Yeah, they took 2 out of 3 from the New York Mets after losing the series opener. 4-2 was the final on Thursday, but those 2 runs for the New York Mets may have been very important because they came from one guy, 2 different swings.
And he flies this one well to left center field. Back at the gap goes Thomas near the wall. It's out of here! Second of the day for Juan Soto. He's broken the dam and the water's flowing through.
I mean, what pressure? I mean, I don't have any pressure. These guys, Mendoza has been really clear with me to make me feel comfortable and going out there and play. I don't have any pressure at all, so it's just 2 homers that weren't enough to get the win, so whatever.
So whatever. Yeah. Do you agree with him that there's no pressure?
Yeah, I mean, it's how many weeks into his contract? He has plenty of time to make right on the money that he's earning. I don't think he's concerning himself with a rough April or to his standard, a rough April. So I think the team winning also has a lot to do with that question right there. If the team wasn't winning and not in first place, I think he'd feel the pressure of the New York media a little bit more, but they've had plenty of guys around him having really good seasons. And again, the record speaks for itself. So right now, yeah, no pressure. He understands what kind of hitter he is, that his numbers are going to be there at the end of the year. So I guess the number one reason is the record, but also he's very confident in himself. And I don't think he's going to feel the pressure until something drastic happens. And this is not it. So I tend to agree with him.
I don't think he's feeling any pressure whatsoever. And it's interesting because I've talked to a lot of guys who have signed big contracts, whether that's an extension with their team or whether they move to a new team and get a deal. And they said that's when they have felt the most pressure. It isn't to go get that big deal. It's to not let anybody down. And I just don't think that's the way that Juan Soto is built. I think he knows he's so damn good that it's going to come around. He's not worried about it. the guy has put up astronomical numbers into his mid-20s. He gets another few years like this. He's a lock for Cooperstown. He's already won a World Series. He's got the richest deal in the history of the sport. And oh, by the way, if you look at how poorly he started in 2023 with San Diego, his first month, poor for him, for his standards, 757 OPS. Out of the next 5 months, 2 of those months, he had an OPS of $1. 2 of them, he had over 900. So he knows that he is going to roll. It'll be shocking if he ends up with anything lower than an 880 OPS. Most people, that would be far and away the best year of their career. If he finishes at 880, we're all going to be like, that was a shit season. But he'll be fine.
I mean, you don't get to be the quality of hitter that he is. You also don't get the contract that he got unless you have like supreme real deal confidence. That's just the bottom line. Like, he understands, yes, my numbers will be there at the end. I've told you my Prince Fielder story. He says, do not look at your numbers, especially early on in the season. You are who you are. Your numbers will be there at the end of the season. Juan knows that better than anybody.
If I set his OPS over under at 900.
Over.
910.
Over.
925.
I think he's going to settle in there and feel really, really. I think he's going to end up with like a 930 to 950 OPS this year, which is, whatever. It's not a big deal.
That's a monster year,
dude. He's the man. What? I guess I'm going to go look up what he's done the last couple of years, Chris. 930 in 2023, 989 last year. I mean, yeah, he's a stud.
He is.
I don't even know what it feels like to feel that way for a freaking year. It's got to be the best, dude.
Has there been anybody in recent memory, in terms of a player, that people break down how he looks, trying to determine whether he's happy, he's sad, he's this, he's that? I think this is just the way he rolls, man, and he's so good at it. I mean, I don't know how much drive he's got. I imagine he's got a decent amount. He's a pretty damn good baseball player. I don't think you could just roll out of bed and just do this for a living unless you really give,
I think he could roll out of bed and hit 800 OPS or an 820, but to take that jump from being a good or even great ball player to being what he is, he works for this. He puts in the work. He has the natural ability, and you put in the work. And the mental strength. Those 3 things, you mix those together, that little potion right there, and that's when you get like the all-time greats, which one he is one of them.
He is. And for people that forgot, I'm almost pretty sure that he, in the 2019 World Series, didn't he take Verlander and Garrett Cole deep as a 19-year-old or 20-year-old or whatever?
I remember Verlander, but probably.
Pretty good. I'd love to hear what people don't like about him. I mean, if he left your team, that I get. That's fine. If you're like, well, he left for more money. Yep. Got it. Sign me up. I'm good with it. Leave us a comment. Do you like him? Do you not like him? Is he overrated? What is he? What is he to you as a baseball fan?
What is he?
I think we see him a certain way, and other people see him a little
bit. Look, I don't like cockiness. Like, I like real confidence. Like, I like that in a person. I think that's actually a very good quality to have. And sometimes it'll come off as arrogance and cockiness, but like, if you can back it up, that's just confidence. Like,
hell yes, it is.
And don't you want your favorite player to like play like that?
Hell yes. I'm in.
I don't know.
Strut a little bit. You okay, my book? Today's episode of Baseball Today is sponsored by Mendo. Spring is in the air. The weather's warming up. I'm most looking forward to watching games at the ballpark with friends and family. It's a great thing to do. I'm also looking forward to it even more because started using Mando whole body deodorant, because unlike some other deodorants I've tried out there, it can actually handle anything. Mando's starter pack, it is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like the mini body wash and the deodorant wipes, which are great for on the go, and you get free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get $5 off the starter pack with our exclusive code. So that equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use the code JMBaseball at shopmando.com. That is SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show. Tell them that we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, woo, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. Two quick things before we get out of here for the weekend. Bunch of contending teams made interesting roster moves on Thursday, right? Alexis Diaz sent down by the Cincinnati Reds to go find his stuff. Arizona put Justin Martinez on the injured list as Velo's been down as of late. Jake Berger optioned to Triple-A by the Rangers. He's hitting $190. Kenta Maeda DFA'd by Detroit. Walker Buehler, he wasn't placed on the injured list, but he was sent back to Boston having a little shoulder issue. He's having that checked out. Which one of those is the biggest headline for you?
It's a toss-up between Buehler and Martinez. I'm going to go Justin Martinez. I had him, I think, as my sprinkle for reliever of the year in the National League. I just like what he brings to the table. And now Arizona all of a sudden is without him and Puck. I think they just put Puck on the 60-day IL as well. So, look, they got Ginks and Shelby Miller's been really good for them. So, like, they'll figure it out. But for a team, again, it's in a division that's just it's going to be so tight. Like losing those games at the end without having your best relievers is just going to really hurt. So, again, I hope those guys can step up. Obviously, we've seen Kevin Ginkel do it before, but that's just a massive blow. Him and Puck being gone for the Diamondbacks is a massive blow.
Already reports out there that they are shopping. They're shopping early, and that wouldn't surprise me. And I think it's something that they need to do because that is a good team, and they also have a bunch of guys that are in their walk year.
Yeah.
So this could be a pretty special squad. They could get back to where they were in 2023. I don't think it would surprise either one of us, but they're going to have to rebuild that bullpen, which is a shame. Kenta Maeda, it was a horrible run in Detroit, which is too bad because he was really a nice pitcher for the Dodgers when he came over here. And obviously he did some stuff with Minnesota, but he could never find it in Detroit. An ERA over 6 in 36 appearances. To me, the reason this is the biggest move is because they're eating about $8 million for the rest of the year. To me, that only happens when you think you can win the whole damn thing. They are putting on their big boy pants. They know that they're really good. Heading into the weekend, they had another come-from-behind win in Anaheim on Thursday night. They've got the best record in the American League. You've heard me talk about their starting rotation. They're going to get more and more healthy players back as everyday ball players. I think they're going to be in line for a huge trade at some point during this season. And when you're willing to eat $8 million out of a team like this, then that means you're ready for the show, as I like to say, the big time. So I thought that was maybe it's not a huge move in terms of personnel. It just means that I think the mentality has changed in Detroit.
I like that. That's good analysis right there, Chris. I like that a lot. Shout out Kenta, though. He's a good guy. It didn't go well, but he's had a great career.
Yep. It's a nice run over here. Last thing. Mascot races in Big Ten baseball. We think this is Purdue against Illinois. The coffee cup taking on the cob of corn, whatever that is, and boom, the coffee cup just eats it right into the rail. Are you out on mascot races now?
So I've done a mascot race. Famously, I did one with Jimmy and Jake and at well, I don't know if it's not Miller Park anymore. I think it was when we did it.
Yeah, up in Milwaukee, and Jimmy blew out.
Milwaukee, yeah. Jimmy blew out, and that was tough. I'm out on him. I don't know, man. Like when you're playing and you're in the dugout and all of a sudden you just like you got to watch yourself from going out on the field because the mascots are running by. It's like, come on, guys. I guess it's for the fans, so maybe that's what it's all about. Maybe I'm not out on him, Chris, because the fans seem to really like him. So I'm back in on him now that I really think about it.
Yeah. I hope that cup of half-calf decaf mocha latte with a twist or whatever the hell that drink was that ran right into the rail is okay. That's one of those that can tear stomach lining in a second.
Yeah, like it depends how tall he is. That's either like earmuffs, that's either in the nutsack or that's breaking a rib. Like, we don't know.
There's a big distance. How close is your nutsack to your rib cage?
Well, I'm saying depends on how tall he is or was, or the person was. That's what I'm saying. Maybe it's a girl. Maybe there was no nutsack. I don't know. Late night thoughts.
Anatomy mascot 101.
Like,
Can't
look,
wait.
I mean, look. Either right here or right here.
Hey-yo! All right. Any big weekend plans? What do you got?
Teddy has a playoff basketball game. That's tonight, excuse me.
Okay.
And then nothing really, man. We're gonna watch some baseball. We have a doubleheader on Sunday. Isla has a soccer game on Saturdays. It's just
a lot of parenting.
Bro.
Yeah, that's good.
I do have dinner on Saturday night. I'm doing an escape room as well.
An escape room?
Yeah.
So if you don't show up Monday, does that mean you need help?
No, this is what you do. This is what I figured out. People always think you got to solve all the things in an escape room. Just go like this. Put your hands up. They give you a clue. It's what you have to do it.
How many times do you do that?
You only have so much time, dude. So like, if you like, this is what we like to do. You go in there and you ask, how close are we? Because if you're way off and you only have 20 minutes left, you need a lot of help.
I
don't know. There might be some people in the comments that are freaking expert escape room people. I'm not. I'm usually like a few cocktails deep when I go to
I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Can you do
amongst
an
maybe
escape room sober? Can you do an escape room sober?
I could. I just never have. Like, I like them. I would do it sober. I just, whenever I find myself at one, I've had, maybe an espresso martini, maybe a couple glasses of wine.
You're not allowed to bring a phone into the escape room. It's like Jeter's parties. Leave your phones
That's
at the
not
door.
true. You bring them in there.
Oh, okay. Well, see, we're rules followers in the Rose household. I think people would like us both to put our hands up because we're both in need of a clue when it comes to baseball analysis sometimes. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, our awesome intern, Sawyer, that is the uber-talented escape artist himself, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. Have a wonderful, good, safe baseball weekend. We will see you Monday here on Baseball Today.